Hello, beautiful person. I'm really glad you're here, and welcome back to Becoming Her, a series about confidence, relationships, travel, and becoming the woman you know you're capable of being. Think of this as your daily big sister reminder, the things I learned the hard way so you don't have to. And today we are talking about something many of us struggle with: boundaries. But not the loud, dramatic kind, self boundaries. The ones that protect your peace quietly. So, for a lot of us, boundaries feel uncomfortable, not because we don't understand them, but because we were taught that being good meant being accommodating, being helpful, being agreeable, being available. Maybe you grew up in an environment when saying no created tension. Maybe expressing needs made people upset. Maybe you were praised for being the easy one. So you learned something very early. Keeping the peace meant ignoring yourself. So I always had issues with saying no to people. I always agreed to everything, and even if it was something that I didn't feel comfortable with doing, or even if I had like low energy, if I wasn't well, I would still say yes because it was just something that I was used to. And I thought that like if I say no, I will be seen as someone rude or people will not like me. So I used to say yes a lot, and it really changed when I realized that it's not good for me. I started to say no, and in many cases it wasn't easy, but I did it to protect myself and my inner peace, because I noticed that I've been agreeing to too many things and people got used to it, and many people started to use me for many different things. I just decided to stop that because it just wasn't good for me, and because I started to say no, a lot of people learned that I don't agree to anything, to everything anymore, and they actually stopped reacting to it. I still struggle with it. I'm still learning how to say no in many situations, but I really recommend trying small because it really makes a difference for your mental health and your well-being. And when you live like that for a long time, boundaries start to feel like betrayal, even when they're healthy. One of the biggest obstacles to boundaries is guilt. You might think, what if they're disappointed? What if they think I'm selfish? What if I hurt their feelings? So you stay quiet. You say yes when you mean no. You tolerate things that drain you. You overextend yourself, not because you want to, but because you're trying to avoid that uncomfortable feeling, guilt. But the guilt is not always a sign that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's just a sign that you're doing something new. Without boundaries, resentment grows. You start feeling drained, you feel taken for granted, you feel unseen, and sometimes you even feel angry at people around you. But the truth is, many of them don't even realize they're crossing a line, because the line was never communicated, not clearly, not consistently, and this is the painful part. When we don't protect our own limits, we slowly abandon ourselves. And the truth is, I actually never communicated my boundaries to the people that I started to say no. And I think that was the biggest mistake I ever made, because that just made them realize that I want to do things that they asked me to do. And they had no idea that maybe I don't feel good doing something because I never said it to them. And you have to remember that it is very important to tell people exactly how you feel doing things, because then they will understand you better when you say no to something and when you stop agreeing to things that you don't want to do or that make you feel uncomfortable. Because if you don't say anything to people, they don't know. They think you're doing something because you want to or because you like it. You always have to communicate things like that very clearly so the communication gets easier and more effective. So boundaries don't have to be aggressive. They don't have to be dramatic. And sometimes they sound like, I can't make it this time. That doesn't work for me. I need some time to think about it. I'm not comfortable with that. Short, calm, and clear. You don't have to justify yourself endlessly. You don't have to convince someone your boundary is valid. It already is. Self boundaries work because they're consistent, not because they're loud. Learning boundaries is also learning to sit with discomfort. Someone might be disappointed, someone might not understand, and someone might push back. And that doesn't automatically mean you did something wrong. Healthy relationships adjust to boundaries. Unhealthy ones resist them. That reaction tells you a lot. And slowly, as you practice boundaries, you start feeling lighter, less drained, less resentful, more at peace. So, gently ask yourself, where in my life do I feel drained right now? What situations leave me feeling resentful or exhausted? What small boundary could protect my energy this week? Becoming her means she understands that kindness and boundaries can exist together. She doesn't need to be harsh. She doesn't need to prove anything. She simply respects her limits. And the people who truly care about her learn to respect them too. She protects her peace, not perfectly, but consistently. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take a deep breath before you move on with your day. Your boundaries are not selfish. They are a form of self-respect. You're not behind, you're becoming. Thank you for listening once again and see you tomorrow. Bye!